Hello, my friends. Jacob's here once again. Welcome to Jacob's Ladder. And my goodness, do we have a lot to talk about today? The huge news, right? Are you fed up? You know what I'm talking about. Jeffrey, all of a sudden, there's no information. There's no receipts. There's no nothing, even though for years we were told this. Day one, they were supposed to come out. And of course, we had all of the influencers doing their little binder dance with their little binding spell that they put on us all, where everything was blocked out and there was no information. And the cover of the actual binder, the most transparent administration in history. Almost a joke, because it took place on when the moon was the darkest, the best time for a binding spell. It's very strange. So we are in a spiritual war. We're in a spiritual battle. And there's a guest that I've been wanting to bring on for a long time to talk about this and how it's connected to everything. And we're talking like biblically. We're talking the fallen ones. In fact, it's his #1 video. You probably know him. I know him. John Pounders is the founder of Now You See TV. I mean, it's a huge channel, right? It's an independent media ministry. It's been around for a long time, almost as long as me. And they've been sharing just so much deep, insightful stuff that when I found out that I got like one of the headliners for Spiracy Con, which is coming out, and I was supposed to be there, but I'm going to go to the next one. I was excited. I was excited because this is like, I need help on this topic, because the world right now, it's like, who knows? Do you think it's possible that maybe there are fallen ones in charge? Could Elon Musk be someone that's like thousands of years old? We're going to talk about all that today as I welcome to the show, John Pounders. Thank you, man, for coming on.
What's up, man? Glad to be here, and I appreciate the awesome introduction, man. I'm excited to do this. I know you've been in the game for a long time, so you've seen a lot of probably more than I have, especially in like the entertainment industry and places like that, where it's definitely connected to spiritual powers. I mean, there's no one that has been connected with that stuff that can't say that something spiritual is going on, whether it be dark or light. But I'm excited to talk about these things, man.
Yeah, I mean, we wrestle against, principalities and powers and rulers of spiritual wickedness. And really, when I look at the world of spirit, I think of like Jesus. He said, my words are spirit and truth. So really, it's a word battle. You know, you take words, you put the S in the beginning, you got a sword. Christ comes with that double-edged sword. And I feel like our words have more power, but you can't beat the enemy if you don't know the enemy. And you on your channel, the Midnight Ride, which is just like everybody, if you haven't subscribed to them already, all the links are going to be in the description of the video. You should check it out. I mean, this is like your cup of tea. This is your bread and butter. I mean, the two of you and your co-hosts are just incredible with this. So with everything going on right now with Jeffrey, we're going to call him Jeffrey. You know the reasons, right, everybody? What do you think? Do you think that there's something? I mean, first of all, are you let down?
I totally believe that there's probably no list, actual written list. There's probably a list of documents of people that went on the flight, and there's video footage of who knows what else going on that they're going to be able to see. But as far as a list goes, people are wanting a list, but obviously nobody's going to produce a list until they're tried for it. But let me just say this, like what I see beyond the veil, what in my mind, what I'm seeing going on is, we know that Satan is the great accuser. So he's gathering data. He's always been a data gatherer. He went roaming to and from on the earth, and Job talks about this situation where he's going, looking around, Satan is, and he's looking for people, and he's saying, all of these people, they've all done this, and he's accusing everybody right before the throne. And then God says, have you considered my servant Job? And he goes to Job and he tries to make him fall. He tries to do all the different things that is in his MO. And so when I look at some of these intelligence operations that are specifically based on blackmail, I know what the spirit is behind that, because it's an intelligence gathering spirit that's looking for blackmail on people, so that not only can he accuse them before the brethren, but he can also accuse them before the throne of God. And this is a situation and a practice that biblically we can trace all the way back, but there's a very specific instance where Balam and Balak are coming to the picture.
This is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, exactly. And
I feel like that Gentile prophet sometimes. I do feel like that Gentile prophet, to be honest,
Yeah. And it's, the prophet, how he went about it is he went there, and those of you that don't know the story, he tried to curse Israel. They wouldn't let him curse him. God wouldn't let him curse him. Only blessings could come out of his mouth. Well, in the scripture, eventually it talks about what Balaam did that caused the problems in Israel. Well, he knew he couldn't curse them, so he taught Balak. He taught them how to make them curse themselves, and one of the key components of that was sexual immorality, I guess you could call it. So that was one of the key components of being able to cause Israel's downfall. And when we look at America, and a lot of people will point to 1776, which I'm not going to point to that. I'm going to go much earlier than that, to the 1600s, when the Pilgrims, when the people that came over in the Mayflower dedicated this land to God. And this is, roughly 400 plus years ago. And if you look at the patterns of Israel, they believed that they were part of Israel. They believed that this was their manifest destiny to have freedom of religion, to where they could worship God, and so they can found on godly principles and even spread the gospel throughout America. And it wasn't long before that got tainted along the way with Illuminists and people like that, and even Satan himself, I believe. And we've turned in the Israel in the Bible, you'd see like almost every 400 years in the book of Judges,
there's always something. Yeah,
they would come up, they would be righteous, God would bless them magnificently, and then they would fall, and then boom, they would go into captivity. And I believe America's on that cycle, and I believe it's possibly close to the end times.
You think we're in captivity now, and we could be almost like it's a Moses moment where we're being set free? Or do you think we're going into a deeper captivity? Because I think of that scripture that says, some to everlasting life and some to everlasting condemnation. So I feel like there's like two sets of individuals today, and perhaps maybe some of us are going to find things to be okay, and some of us aren't. But I'm curious to see what you're thinking.
I think that some people are in captivity, and it's a matrix type captivity, a real mental, spiritual captivity. I really do believe that. I see people every day that are 100% sold into everything from that they've been taught from the time they were young. They work all the time, and that's all they do. They work, they sleep, they watch football, they do this, and they're definitely in captivity.
Yeah, they're like slaves.
Exactly. And if you know, biblically, we are called to be a royal priesthood, a holy nation. And how can you be that when you're in captivity to the things and the ways of the world? We've offered our souls for riches. We've also offered our souls for convenience, for safety. And America is starting to suffer from that. It's
starting to really suffer because everybody wants safety right now. And once again, to bring up Balaam and the story, and I find that interesting, your take on this, because that does make a lot of sense. It's like, I can't curse them, but let them curse themselves. It's almost like we're on social media, and you have AI knows us better than we know ourselves, and can manipulate us into thinking certain things. Maybe these are the tools. Like, do you think that it's possible that this ancient war is happening right now? And like, we're all a part of it, and we don't even know it. Like, we're cursing ourselves because of how ignorant we've become and how we've put our faith in the wrong things.
I most certainly believe that, man. And I think that's really kind of the nature of the Great Deception. Is going to be, people are not going to realize how deceived they actually are. It's hard to know. We have so many things around us in America. And I've been to other countries that are a lot less empowered financially, I would say, and a lot less empowered in a lot of other ways, even convenience ways. And their love for each other, everything that they do for each other is so much more thick and better than in America. America has become a selfish nation. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of these things are all proof that the biggest narcissist is the most popular. Whoever the biggest narcissist is, whoever is the most flamboyant, whatever, that's who people flock to. And that's really been the nature of humans for a long time. But like I said, I do think that America has fallen spiritually, and there's a placebo religion in place through the churches, unfortunately. Listen, that's another thing that I really find so compelling, is that there are so many different religions, and in each of these religions,
whether it's Islam, Judaism, Christianity, whatever it is, the Hinduist faith. You have so many factions inside of these religions that are all at war. And religion itself means to bind together. And I feel like, and people will kill for their God. Meanwhile, 10 Commandments make it pretty simple. You want to make it simple. You love God, you love others. If you do this, you're a done deal. But my goodness, if this isn't some kind of a deceptive world we're living in and war that we're in, and you feel so helpless and so hopeless, do you think that there are like literally fallen angels? Like this is a thing for you. I really do think there are literal fallen angels. Let me give you kind of an idea of how many I think there actually could be here on earth with us. In the scriptures, there's several visions of the throne of God and the heavens. And in those visions, twice it mentions that there are 10,000 times 10,000 of angels. And that's probably not an exact number, but that equals to a 100 million. If you multiply 10,000 times 10,000, that is 100 million. And then the scripture also tells us that 1/3 of the stars were dragged down with the dragon. So 1/3 of the angels fell, and 1/3 of 100 million is 33 million. Right. And the number 33 is a big number. And I'm not saying that there's that many, but that gives you an idea how many there actually could be here. You think they have little secret hand signs? Do you think they're all part of the club? And this is their little joke because they've been around for thousands of years? And
absolutely.
then channels like yours and channels like mine, we reach a certain amount of people, but then it's like, how it works.
There's a ceiling there. Unless you're willing to sell your soul and do things. Yeah. There is a ceiling there, and you're right, man. They do know, and you can tell. You've been in this long enough to know when somebody looks at you, they don't even know you, but all of a sudden something tells them, and they avoid you with everything. They avoid you. They get away from you. I've been in the presence of very famous people, and all of a sudden I'll see them. All of a sudden their eyes will open real big, and they'll just kind of wander off real quick, and because they can't stand in our presence because. Look, there's an Actors Guild. There's a lot of different things in Hollywood if you really want to get deep into what they are and what these people do, but they're worshipped as stars. Stars, yeah. They're literally worshipped as stars, and stars are almost always synonymous with angels in the scripture.
Yeah. Israel, they're the stars that fell, and I really do think that we're in some kind of a conundrum here because a lot of people don't really believe that there is this big thing. They're very, this level right here. A lot of people on the channel here understand that we have power within ourselves through Christ. Just our words alone, through faith, we can say to this situation, be gone, and it's gone. And the problem is, like you said, the prophet told them how to do it. And so what do? They're teaching us how to curse ourselves. And how do we do it? By, lusting after, if I only had 1 million subs. Right? I've been down that road. I worry, not trusting in God. So what does God do? He keeps me exactly where I need to be for a reason. Now, the question becomes, what do we do? Like, how can we affect the whole when you have all of this against you? Like we were talking about Elon just a little while ago before the show started. And who's to say that he isn't like thousands of years old, right? We don't know. How do people get to be that powerful? We're the slaves, right? The guy supposedly works like a slave. But my goodness, how do these people get to where they are? And it all feels like it's happened before. Like we just even had just the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future, right? So, what's going on?
Man, that's a rabbit hole that's so deep. I've probably done 5 broadcasts on between Elon, Trump, and the whole time travel innuendos that are going on with them. And Elon, his real name's Elion, supposedly. He definitely has a complex of, and also the aura and the ability to just take over industries. He became probably one of the wealthiest people in the world in a very short period of time.
I don't feel like I was saying this. I said I hope they work out because I think that there's nothing this guy can't do. And if he says I'm starting the America Party, I'm like, it's probably going to happen. And then when we get the news because you got to understand something. This is going to sound a little strange, but back in the day, there were these two twin statues, Artemis and Apollo, that were discovered. And for whatever reason, I felt inspired. Like God was saying, oh, this is going to be Trump and Musk. They're going to come together. Did all like shows about this. I don't know how it's going to happen, but one day I even made a joke about it when he came in with the hand sync, and I called him Pilot. And so it's odd because in this video, I talked about how he says, what is Truth Social? I made like a big joke about it. Then last night, Elon tweets out, what is Truth Social? So I'm going, oh my goodness, if he's the Pilot character, right? And he's like, what do you guys want? And then you got Trump playing. A lot of people think he's like the Jesus character. I mean, you look at the picture on the screen right there, the Abraham Accords. It looks just like the Last Supper. When he rang the bell at Wall Street, it looked like the Last Supper. We've been waiting for somebody to betray him. Then all of a sudden, Elon turns on him.
Yeah.
I mean, is there something big playing out? I don't know. Do you see a metaphor there?
There's definitely something there, man. And I could speculate a lot of different things, but dude, there's so much there. There's so much there with those guys that I don't think people really understand. And the more you talk about it, the more popular it may get. But because we've talked about, like, so first off, Elon, he's mentioned in a book about Mars, but written by Werner von Braun, a Nazi scientist. And this is crazy. And his dad said that he named him that.
Named him after the character, but
you named him after the character. We see a lot of stuff coming out about the family. Actually, you mentioned Spiracy Con. One of the guests that's coming, you may have seen the viral video going around of her claiming to be Elon's nanny.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Witnessing him opening a portal.
Me a bunch of times.
She's coming to the conference actually and coming to speak at that. I don't know if I believe her, but the more I'm starting to see things go down, I'm thinking maybe the story is actually possible. Right. But with him, there's so many anomalies, and even with Donald Trump, there's so many anomalies. Even the getting shot in the ear. I don't know if you've heard Jonathan Kahn, I believe. I think it was Jonathan Kahn. Jonathan Kahn.
I was the head writer for Daystar Television for a while. It was very strange.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the Lord.
I can't wait to interview about that. Interview about that. I don't know Jonathan Kahn at all, but I do think that, like, a lot of the stuff he says is just wow. This is crazy. Like, how did this get revealed to him? But
it was Hammond. It was Hammond. The ear. It was the story of the ear was thick in the air. It was almost it was very strange how we just knew that this Esther story was going to play out somehow. We knew that that something was going to go on with the ear. And ironically, it was like almost exactly a month after the event in Pennsylvania. I had a terrible accident at a 1776 golf course where we got hit, and I lost hearing, high frequency hearing, and I'm literally being tormented by the sound of the Matrix. So it sounds like on a regular basis. I have this tinnitus, same ear, very strange. So we feel like it's a significant thing where you have some people say it didn't happen. I'm willing to believe everything that I see is an allegory, and I'm going to accept it as it happened. So what do we learn from it? Like, what do you think the deeper picture is?
It's really, really hard to say, other than I think that I've theorized that it's possible that he is just another idol set up for people to worship.
You mean they're like the golden statues and everything they put in his name?
Yeah, and it's possible that he's something even more than that. I mean, I've even theorized, is it possible that he's the Antichrist? Is it possible that he is the one who ushers in the Antichrist? Because there's a lot of correlations there. Now, his name doesn't add up to 666, but there's obviously things in his life that you can look at and think, man, this is strange. Like, for instance, his uncle being the one who picked up the papers for Tesla after Tesla died, John Trump. The Barron book, the Barron books that have written in the 1800s.
You're gonna like this, John, because on the channel here we talk about the Antichrist and the spirit that John talked about, and how I always tell people not to focus too much on like one person, because really the only enemy that we got to worry about is the one within the temple messing with us all the time. But Christ comes, destroys with the brightness of his glory. As John said, there are many antichrists in the world, right? There are a lot of people that are against the truth of God. But I look at this guy like on a level like you, as like a Nebuchadnezzar figure. I compared him to Nebuchadnezzar for a long time because he said he was doing everything right, and then he lost everything in an instant, but then he came back after becoming a beast. And in scripture, the beast turns on the harlot system. God puts into the beast. So it's almost like God says, I want you to destroy the harlot system. And what do we see happening with Trump is we see him coming against this harlot system. So it's almost like God's in charge, moving all the pieces around. For crying out loud, I said Nebuchadnezzar for so long. That was one of my viral videos. I had a weird dream that he was in a coffin before, and I told everybody he's going to lose against Biden. Everybody thought it was nuts. And I said, but he's going to come back like a king. They read from Daniel about Nebuchadnezzar right before he was sworn in. It's almost wild because, and this is what it is. Prophets like Jeremiah back in the day. Then you got people like yourself on your channel saying, it's coming, it's coming. Now here he is, right? And we see what's happening with immigration. We see with that. I mean, it could be the beast turning against the harlot system.
It very well could be. I mean, that prophecy in Revelation about the 10 horns on the beast, it clearly says that they'll hate the whore that's riding the beast. Right. They'll hate it, and they'll burn her. They'll throw her off the back, and they'll burn her. And they're doing God's will. That's what it says in Revelation.
That's what I'm getting at. So it's like, I don't want to be like, you know?
Because he might be doing God's will. I think that's very possible that even though the power may be given over to the dragon eventually, for sure, he's fighting against the dirt that has been riding the back of the beast for a long time. There's no doubt in my mind he's doing that. I know people who are actively out there and doing operations that are a part of this, trying to save children, trying to do these different things. They're literally trying to remove the threat of these, what he would call swamp monsters, these people that have power over cartels. They have power over all of these people, and you can't remove the beast without removing their teeth. And you start to see, when you start to see teeth being removed, to me, that's a clear sign that something big is going down. And I know that's going down. People can say, oh, that's all theory. None of that's going down, but that is going down behind the scenes. Their teeth are being taken out. Maybe not fast enough, but they are being taken out.
Well, and I got to tell you, everything felt like it was moving so smoothly and so wonderfully, in my opinion, because I felt like I've been telling everybody for a long time. Not like I'm a fan, not like I idolize the guy. I try to make that very clear. When there's a corrupt people, he brings in a ruler that can handle a corrupt people. Doesn't mean that he's all righteous, right?
Right.
But I mean, even I have a show coming out about the big beautiful bill. It's coming out. There's some really good things in there, and there's some really bad things in there. It's like, who does it work for in the end? Two groups of people. It's like those two sets of cicadas, that came out. So the question I have for you before, and just so you know, we got 7 minutes left to this.
All right.
Question I have for you really is, do you see Trump and Elon really going to war here? Do you see, Donald Trump being pulled out of power? Do you see something like this happening? And what is your advice to everybody sitting at home?
I see Political Apprentice being played on TV. It's like Celebrity Apprentice, but now political. And so as much as I'm enjoying the show, I'm not taking it as seriously as a lot of people. I look at it and I think it's entertaining. But I think that really what we should be doing as priests of the Most High God, which the Bible calls us a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, is we should be focusing on our kingdom, because our kingdom does supersede this kingdom of the earth. And that means spreading the gospel. This is something that we must do to other people, showing love and being the hands and feet. If there's people that are homeless, to help them. If your town needs help, figure out a way. There's a verse in Psalms that always just really grips me. It says that if your city's in peace, you'll be at peace. So pray for the peace of your own city that you live in. Be a blessing in the area that you're able to be a blessing.
Right.
Not everybody can do what me and you do, because this is what our calling is. This is where God has given us our ability to do that. But we all have somewhere that we have areas that we can influence, because we are children of the Most High God. We are that royal priesthood, but we've been dumbed down so much and our identity has been pushed away that we don't know that. But we have to know that, and we have to take control in that way, because God is able to save one person out of a million. He's able to take the ground and swallow up a whole group of people and leave the righteous intact. So we have to believe that and have faith in that, and just be a child of God that loves him and trusts our dad. That's what I That's what I would say is my
It's smart,
advice.
and I feel like it's very relevant what you're saying too, because I felt a little while ago, I started telling everybody, okay, now you don't need to pay attention to the outer court anymore. Right now, you just got to worry about what's inside. Don't worry too much about what's outside. Don't worry about the dogs and the wizards and the sorcerers and the influencers running around casting the Biden spells. Worry about the inside court right now. And that's exactly what you're saying. Be a blessing to people that are around you. Be a blessing in your home. Work on things. I mean, none of us are perfect.
None of us, yeah.
And you probably are like me. I mean, you probably have your daily concerns, but overall, we're just witnesses. That's why I have the shirt. I want everybody to remember that we're all witnesses.
Yep.
It's like we're supposed to be. Christ said, you're going to be my witnesses. We're supposed to sit back, be watchmen on a wall. And we plant good seed. That seed will flourish. And you're doing it all the time on Now You See TV, which is just such a great channel.
Thank you, man.
Everybody do subscribe today to John. And Spiracy Con's coming out. You want to? You're like one of the headliners with a lot of really cool people. I was so bummed. It's my son.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd be able to be a part of it too, but next time you will be.
Next time, man.
Yes, next time. So we have a lot of speakers. There's like 18 or 19 speakers on the list. So I mean, we got everywhere from Richie from Boston, which I believe you had him on,
I had him on
your show before. Yeah. All the way to random YouTubers that I believe in giving people chances, even people that aren't very big YouTubers or whatever, because those are usually the ones that are actually doing really amazing work, and they're hungry. They're doing really good work, but the algorithm may not think so, but that doesn't mean God doesn't think so. And so I love giving opportunities. Yeah. Right.
There's a time when everybody has to come together, and you got to band together. And I mean, this is what Israel did. They had to come together. They had all these tribes. Time to gather in the end. The tribes are gathered together. And then here we are, living in epic times with like epic battles going on. And and I sitting here, I got an onyx ring. This is my grandfather. When he passed away, it's his ring. I love it. I actually, when I put it on for every show, I feel like a royal priesthood. I feel, and of course, I don't feel completely worthy at all times. But my goodness, am I grateful to do what I'm doing, and I'm so grateful that you're doing what you're doing. And everybody should subscribe, because I'm actually going on your show tomorrow, and we're going to do an interview. It's like these are taped, so I'm going to try to get this out tonight, because I feel like this is an important time for people.
Very cool.
Anything else you want to, share with anybody?
Dude, I'm thrilled to be on here. I appreciate it. And if you do want to meet me, spiracycon.com, you can check that out, where that's one of the places that I'm going to be this year.
I'll put a link below too. Yeah, he keeps saying, he's like, why don't you sell tickets? I'd love to have your channel get some support out of this. I'm going to talk to him today. I'm going to put a link below, and we'll see what happens. But it looks awesome. I was really kind of bummed.
Well, I'm going to put you on the thing too. So every time somebody buys a ticket on there, they can ask, how did they hear about this? And so they have to pick somebody.
Oh, cool.
And so I've got your name on there already, dude. So
cool.
if you guys heard about this tonight on Jacob Israel, then pick him. I think I put Jacob's Ladder because I believe you changed
Jacob's Ladder. I just changed it. I wanted to see if it would make a difference, But I also wanted to return to my roots, because this is what the channel's always been called.
Yeah.
And I think this ladder needs to appear to everybody again. That's Christ, because that's the ladder that appears to us all,
Well, let me tell you this too about Israel. I wore a shirt that says Israel because I made this shirt. I made it because I believe that we are grafted into Israel, and we are Israel. Boy, oh boy, the hate that I got for wearing it and having a social media picture of me wearing it was unreal. I was like, wow, these people, I don't know what they think about this, but my goodness, obviously they think that I'm some kind of super horrible. Zionist or something.
It's horrible. But once again, this is them being polluted, right? And what are they doing? They're really just cursing themselves, because honestly, they could be Israel and not even know it. They could have been lost, and now they're just following after pagan beliefs and worshiping false gods. And God will correct them. God leads everybody back. I have no doubt in my mind that God's creation is going to be finished in victory. It's already finished. When Jesus said it's finished, it's done. So what can we add to it? We can just try to be excited while we're going along for the ride, the midnight ride, which, by the way, make sure you smash the like button, share the channel around, go into the description of the video, subscribe to their channel today. Thank you for coming on. I usually give everybody, I blow everybody a kiss. People in the beginning thought it was weird, but we're supposed to greet everybody with a holy kiss. So thanks for coming, everybody. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Picture yourself happy and free, living your life the way you want it to be. No more worries, no fear, no trouble, only peace. Happy at work, at home, with family or alone, regardless of where you roam. Imagine joy is all you know. Imagination is the ground where your future grows. Imagination is the key, you see. If you'd only believe, you'd receive what waits behind the door of infinite possibility.